Right, I'm up for a challenge. In the next 5 minutes, I'm going to show you 5 different techniques that you can use to transform your simple sentences into more complex sentences so that you can develop your ideas and also show that wide range of grammar to crush the IELTS writing test. And it's pretty easy. Anyone can do it, so let's dive in. Now, the very first technique that I'm going to show you is useful for adding additional information about the subject. So here's a simple sentence. The policy has failed. But if you know any additional information about the policy, then you can add it by using one of the pronouns. Who, which, that. In this case, we're using which. So the policy, which was implemented last year, has failed. Okay, and all you do, you just add this pronoun and add all this additional information. And now you have a complex sentence. You add it after the subject. Okay? And not only that, you also get extra points for using passive voice and using the right tense, because this happened last year, so you need to use past tense. Now, the next technique is useful for explaining why something happens. For example, many people prefer public transport. And that's it. That's your simple sentence. But by simply adding because, you can now add all this extra information. Okay? And so not only you build a complex sentence, but you also use some topic-specific vocabulary. So that's, again, some additional points. And guys, I know this looks like a very simple example. Yeah, we know how to use because, right? But the thing is, I had so many students who say something is important and they never explain why. So you always need to explain why something is important if you say that, because it's not enough to score a 7 if you just say something is important. So this next technique is super useful for showing what needs to happen for something else to occur. Now, let me demonstrate. The economy will improve. Okay, how can we expand this? How can we make a complex sentence out of that? First thing that you need to do is think about the tense. This is future tense. So this event, this thing hasn't happened yet. Okay? Now think about what needs to happen for this to happen. Okay, the government needs to invest money in the infrastructure. And how can we link it? We simply use one of the conjunctions, if, unless, provided that. So the economy will improve if the government invests in infrastructure. So we simply link these two ideas with a conjunction. And now you have a complex sentence. Now this next technique is quite the opposite, but it shares the same logic. The students performed better. Okay, first of all, think about the tense. It happened in the past. They performed. Okay, so how can we expand this? Do we know when exactly this happened? We do. And we can use that information to build a complex sentence. So the students performed better after they received additional training. So all you do, you just use one of these conjunctions, and now we have a complex sentence. Now this last one is one of my favorites because it really shows a strong command of the language. Now let me demonstrate. The project was successful. Okay, how can we expand this? Now think about the tense. It was in the past. Okay, so can we go in the past and think, okay, the project was successful, but was there anything that made this success unexpected, made it surprising? Yes, there were some problems in the beginning. Okay, so how can we use all this information to create a single complex sentence? Easy. We can use one of these conjunctions, although, though, despite. And here's my sentence. Although there were some initial setbacks, the project was successful. That's all. So we used although, and we used this structure, there is, there was, very useful. So to say that there were some setbacks. And then we continued with our initial simple sentence. And that's it. That's everything you need to know. By the way, did I manage to do that in 5 minutes? Well, I'm not sure. You tell me. Okay? So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Don't forget to practice. Bye.